welcome to this episode of Who Art Thou, where we meet new artists, get art stories, the journey, and see new art. So we got a guest gonna be popping up in here with us in just a moment. But everybody that's catching it now or on the playback, make sure you like and check out for the next one. So we do these joints pretty much every week. So tune in. If you want to be featured on Who Art Thou, just slide a DM, just say Who Art Thou. That's it. You know, no cost nothing. Like meeting new artists, seeing art and talking about it. So make sure you check me out. So a guest should be popping up in a moment. Hey, what's going on? Get some water while you wait for me, yes. Oh, there you go, there you go. Jalen, you just gotta request to be in the live. Hold up. Right. I should let you up on stage. Hey, what's going on with you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, it kind of sound a little bit faded, but I can hear you though.
Let's see if I can. All right, bet. There we go. There we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, bet. What's going on with you?
Nothing, just working right now. Just working. Still
Okay.
creating.
Yeah. Where you checking in from?
Uh, Buffalo, New York.
Oh shit, it's even colder up there than in Jersey.
Uh, right now it's about 40. Like a snow yesterday. Kind of went down like 27. Now it's going back up to like 40s, upper 30s. May go out to 50 by tomorrow.
Okay. I get a little break, a little break. You know, that's where you from originally?
Born and raised in Buffalo, New York. But I guess you can say I always get the people meet me, I guess, so to speak. They never think I'm from Buffalo. I don't know. I don't know if Buffalo has an identity or doesn't have an identity, but that's the most common thing I get.
Okay. Did you go to school for art?
Yeah, I have my BA in art, my minor in art history because I took so many credits that they just threw that in. But since then, I've gone to school a multitude of times for different purposes, getting certifications and things of that nature to improve my artistic acumen as well as my business acumen throughout the years. I graduated in 2015, excuse me, from the University of Buffalo. And then from there, I would go on my journey to figure out how to build a sustainable business model around my artistic talents, if you will.
Okay, nice. So we're gonna hold right there. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves. Please, can you do us a favor and introduce yourself? Who art thou?
Yes. Good evening, everybody. My name is Jalen A. Law. I am a man who wears many hats, but first and foremost, I am an artist. Secondary, I'm an educator based in Buffalo, New York, and I run a company, art and education-based company called the Jalen Law Collection, which it holds two primary hats. One hat it holds the fine art aspects of my creative endeavors, whether it is creating original artwork for art collectors or fulfilling public art projects such as murals and sculpture installations. But on the other half, I have my educational hat, which is to make a long story long. I work with kids, particularly between the ages grades between first grade all the way up until college age, of helping them develop non-invasive creative strategies, developing their social and emotional learning skills within the hopes to help them achieve their quality of life that they see for themselves, and most importantly, their dreams and goals. And I've been doing that work for the past 5 years. I've been a full-time artist, mm, I would say about since 2018. I've been a
Okay.
full-time artist, but it's been a exciting journey. It's still a journey that's still developing, and I am definitely looking forward to seeing what more can be created and what impact can be made as we traverse through this journey.
Okay. Nice, nice. I love to hear it, man. After my own heart. Art and business and the intersections. Getting that creative economy. I definitely live that lifestyle. So I love that you're doing that up in Buffalo.
Yes.
Making a name in a way up there. So that's definitely dope. So what did you have any mentors or any examples of that business, like what really instilled that in you? Because a lot of artists don't even realize that they're entrepreneurs and and handle themselves such. So like what really gave you that drive and made you realize you had to put that together if you wanted to survive in that space?
Yes, I have many mentors. I think I like to equate when anytime you go after, I want to answer it this way. When every time you go after something that you believe that is worth your best effort, that you believe that this is something that you want to realize in your life, whether it's within art or outside of art, you go through what Joseph Campbell, the expert mythologist, as well as religious study expert back in the early 20th century, he built a model called the hero's journey. And the hero's journey is a psychological, psycho-spiritual, emotional journey that protagonists will go through, which will involve a set of challenges and a set of lessons to help you evolve into the person you need to become in order to achieve the outcomes that you want. And so on that path, within that model is you're going to meet a bunch of mentors, so to speak, along the way. And for me, I have a series of mentors that along this journey since the early ages of just drawing circles on the floor at the age of 2, all the way up to this point. I stand on their shoulders, uh, and they give me a sense of some of them are living, uh, some of them have transitioned on, but I continue to stand on their shoulders and stand on their wisdom in order to help me develop and create the results that I envision for myself at the end of the day as an artist, as a business owner, and as a overall impact maker through my artistry and through my education work.
And how'd you find these mentors?
Um, it's a some of them along the way just kind of they've shown up along the way as I decided to take the first couple steps in the endeavors that I've gotten involved in over the course of within these past 8+ years, as a art professional. Um, sometimes is very I can give a short story of like how I've come across these mentors, but it was almost when I had the right mindset, when I decided to take the first steps into the hustle of figuring some things out and problem solving, troubleshooting. It's like they almost found me in a way on my journey. It's not necessarily an easy question for me to give a black and white answer to say, oh yeah, I ran into this person, I connected with this person through email or so to speak. Some of those cases, I just took a chance and did reach out, cold called, cold emailed, and many cases it was just I was just at an event and I had a conversation with somebody, and then that conversation grew into something magical over the years.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful. Definitely experienced that as well. So I understand that organic chemistry, and I'm with that. So What type of artist would you consider yourself?
Um, so I'll always consider myself as my answer to that has evolved over the years. I always consider myself as an oil painter. Primarily, I like to work within oil paints. My style is a mixture between realism and abstract and expressionism, kind of a hybrid style that molds these three different pieces into one. But most recently, I my identity in terms of the artwork that I'm into and my style has evolved in the sense of I consider myself as a documentarian that just so happens to know how to paint or just so happens to know how to draw. A lot of my artwork entails of telling stories, more of nonfiction stories, social commentary, political commentary, historical stories, and the documentary side of that is going through a process of researching the information, doing my best of removing my own biases from the information that I read, and I reconstruct the information through forms of portraiture, through color, line, and technique, and with the hopes that when a collector views my work, or rather when art enthusiasts views my work, they are able to get a raw interpretation from themselves when they see the artwork, and when they read the interpretation and context to why the work was created in the way it was, and the historical information behind that artwork, so that they can walk away more enlightened, depending on and depending on the context of the work, maybe inspired in their own path to creating and realizing things for themselves with the information that they just read or experienced some way, shape, or form.
And what does your creative process look like?
Um, Currently, my creative process has been a marrying of traditional artistic practices, whether through painting and with animated animation, as well as virtual integration to it. So meaning I like to utilize different animation components to my work to add another layer of immersiveness to the context of the stories I like to cover. Most recently, I'm really into augmented reality. So currently, I have my second solo art exhibition on display at the University of Syracuse right now, and thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank you. And it's a reconstruction of an aspect of Buffalo / Erie Canal history, and it talks about the African American presence of the Erie Canal, particularly during the 1850s to 1870s. And I use traditional art practices of painting to tell the story. However, I married that with augmented reality, where viewers, when they view the exhibit, they can simply take their phones. There's an app that they can download. Then once they download the app, they can take their camera phone and they can scan each a piece that's involved in the exhibit, and that piece will begin to the characters, the humans of that time, will begin to animate. They'll begin to blink and move and talk, and you will also hear a narration to give you proper context of what you're seeing and what those characters that are involved in each scene are experienced during that time period. So I've been really interested in really pushing the envelope of how can I utilize the technological advancements within my artwork to build a deeper contextual relationship between uh, the art being presented and the viewer.
Yeah, that's fire. I like that. I
Thank
like that. Yeah, yeah. Good job. Good job. So, how do you decide, which stories you're gonna tell? Like, how do you land? Because if you're talking history, there's a lot that we know. There's a lot that's been, reorganized and
you.
retold, different things like that. So, like, how are you landing and clearing the space so you don't get creative block, which is just really overload? Like, how are you narrowing down what it is that you want to say and what stories you want to tell?
Oh yeah, one of the biggest strategies is garnering the support of expertise and people who are experts in areas that I may be a novice in. So case in point, kind of like a reference to this exhibit, I read over approximately 200 newspaper articles that documented different points of history of how life was like during that period and how the people were during that period, and to not allow myself to get over bombarded by information overload during this course of a 7 year period. I pulled on historical researchers, librarian researchers to help me siphon through the noise, the minutia of where creatively speaking, I may be interested in wanting to document that piece, but it may not be relevant to the larger historical story. And so, pulling on the wisdom and expertise of people who have that historical researcher's eye, so to speak, help me be able to granulate down the noise and focus on putting together what the main points need to be creatively covered and documented so that uh, you're not lulling people to sleep,
Yeah.
but you're also not necessarily putting people in a space where they are overstimulated either, you know. So definitely pulling on support in areas where I may see myself as weak at,
Mhm.
in order to mitigate from those issues that artists can go through.
Yeah, and I don't want to do all that damn reading by myself neither. So
Oh yeah, yeah. It takes a certain level of passion, but definitely a certain level of a discipline to be able to even want to do that. And another angle to answer your question, and I answered this in a academic review because I'm getting an academic review done for my first art book. And I told the person that was interviewing me was some of these stories that I document, it kind of goes back to your question, how you find mentors. Sometimes I feel like the stories find me, and in particular, this content of work, this body of work that I created, this feels like story, uh, a story an ancestor during that period of time, just kind of like reintroduced to me in a way, and I wanted to honor the ancestors who were a part of the experience, in order to and studying myself and grounding myself on that level of, I guess, subtle spiritual understanding, uh, help helps me navigate through uh, disinformation, misinformation, historical stories, because the first casualty of war when it comes to information is the truth. And so, you know, as long as I ground myself into that and also add that with the willingness to want to figure out to get to the final endpoint, um, I know that in the end that I'm going to create something, and I'm going to create something to a highest quality with as much accurate information to the best that I can pull, that will ultimately feed the souls of the viewers of my work. And I know that was like a long answer, but I definitely wanted to
yeah,
try
no,
to
no,
find those words.
it was right on time and needed. So that was it. Somebody needs to hear it. You know, you never know who you touching. So, um, what I was gonna ask, that was a great answer as well.
Thank you.
So, what have you been able to accomplish with your art thus far?
Whew, you know, I would say it's been a very interesting journey. I was Last year I was able to create one of my largest murals to date, and I was able to really take my interest of marrying traditional art practices with virtual reality, augmented reality, with this 1,463 square foot mural that I did for a town that's not too far from me. It's called the town of Amherst, and the it took me. I was supposed to get this mural done within the summer, but they ended up moving into the fall because of some things they needed to get done. and that was like my first large scale mural where I actually did traditional art and had a augmented reality component to it. So that was like very cool to do. Of course, my second solo art exhibition that I just referenced at the University of Syracuse, and I would say even so much. But if I had to give like one last piece that I've done is the privilege of being able to work with an organization a couple years ago called the Positive Results Center out in Gardena, California. They work with teenage youth and teenagers in particular who have dealt with some form of domestic or sexual violence, and I was able to, particularly during COVID, to work with a group of a cohort of uh, youth and teenagers, helping them developing the necessary resilience, social emotional skills around resiliency to help them not only cope with the psychological impact of COVID, but also, help them, manage and mitigate when they are being triggered and when they're about to go into a moment that triggers them. And so to be able to meet with this cohort of teens, and also at the end of programming of the program that I did with them, to hear the feedback from them, to see how art was able to play such a significant role as a resource and as a tool to help them build those resiliency skills. It was humbling, and it was a pleasure and a privilege to be able to do that.
Nice. And what are you looking to accomplish with your art? What are some of your goals over the next year or two?
Within the next year or two, currently I am getting into playground designs, and there's a model. It's called uh, playful learning, so where you basically utilizing integrating education curriculum with play. And so there's small scale projects and large scale projects where, people have, or organizations rather, have developed projects where they've built certain curriculums, certain play activities within shopping markets, bus stops, libraries, anywhere where families preside, in particular. And so within the 2 years rather, I want to be in position to develop and utilize my expertise within art, my expertise within education, and my interests within playground designing and integrating all three together and building building large, medium to large scale playground sites for children and for families to preside and develop curriculum based around science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and art within each of the sites to help children strategically develop those uh, key areas of personal development and key areas of learning development through my passions. Currently, I'm doing it now. I'm working on a project with a couple partners and developing a energy sustainable playground, which basically will teach children which will have a curriculum infused about kinetic to mechanical energy.
Okay.
So, and how, how a child's utilization of their body, from running to stomping to playing to swinging, is creating these mechanical energy outputs, and which will definitely be able to educate uh, children participating within the site, basic physics, basic engineering, and a base level of mathematics. And it's currently been a fun adventure, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing within the next 2 years as my focus of seeing how many projects can we develop and install, whether they're small scale or large scale, and partnering with a cohort of stakeholders and organizations, not even just in Buffalo, but across the country.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Dope moves, man. Sound big and definitely needed. Definitely needed. I like the innovative approach. And I was actually just stumbled across something just last week that was showing the rate at which children develop when they're having fun when they're learning.
Oh yeah.
Versus just being static in classroom or having to memorize and regurgitate the information. So, so yeah, I definitely love everything that you're doing with that. So that's dope, man. It's off to you.
Thank you. I definitely appreciate it. And you, of course, you know, even to ask me that last question about, things I was able to do with art. Hey, this Friday, Harlem Fine Art Show. That's going to be another edition of another thing I was able to do with art. I'll definitely be there from Friday to Sunday with a cohort of just talented artists within the African diaspora. That will be another thing to the list of uh, things I've that I've done with art as well.
Yeah, nice. Definitely, make sure you throw that on your CV and everything. You're gonna have something in the show, right?
Yes, I'm bringing a total of 9 large scale art pieces that I've created over about a 2-year period.
Okay.
This will be my first time being a participant of the Harlem Fine Art Show.
So what you got? A
Um,
20 foot booth?
I got the 10 by 10 booth
Okay.
for this go around. Being that it is my first time, I definitely wanted to bring my best and
Mhm.
bring quality work. I could bring a large volume of work, but I definitely for this first one to be able to get a feel for the vibes, a feel for the logistics. I wanted to bring a smaller volume of work, but quality artwork. And some of the artwork presented will have that marrying of some virtual reality animation components to it. Some will have some components of the animation augmented reality components to it that we presented them.
Fire, fire. Yeah. So you definitely messing with the right people.
Okay.
Going in the right direction. And actually, um, the Harlem Fine Art Show is going to be doing more things with art and technology in the future as well too. So
Okay.
um, keep
Okay.
on innovating. Keep on bringing it, and look forward to you on a larger stage and growing in your artistic endeavors and everything, bro. Again, hats off to you.
I definitely appreciate it, and I definitely appreciate you for your willingness to share your platform with artists such as myself. This is definitely important. We're not conditioned to, one, I won't say as of late, but naturally we're not necessarily conditioned to think of ourselves as business owners, as you said before in this conversation. But you know, we're we're more so conditioned to depend on uh, hopeful marketing.
Yeah,
We create the work and we have hope that the audience will come, and that's just not realistic
no,
in the grand scheme of things. So to be on platforms such as this is very important to break out of that conscious or subconscious belief, or even maybe it's to a degree laziness of we need to be able to have a marketing plan, have platforms like yours, such as yourself, to be able to share the talents that we have stored inside of us in order to maximize our success, so to speak. So I definitely want to say thank you.
yeah, not a problem. Appreciate you. Thank everybody that tuned in, hopped out. Everybody's gonna catch us on the playback. Make sure you follow, and I guess if you're not already following, pop up to the Harlem Fine Art Show this weekend, either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Come through, and we definitely be looking forward to meeting and greeting you there. And when you pop up and you see one of us there, say what's up. You know what I mean? On nobody bite. Speak.
Sweet.
Introduce yourself. Let's kick it a little bit, and enjoy each other because that's what it's about. That's why we're there for all the vibes. So bring it and thank everybody again for tuning in. This is D Muse, Pay the Artist. Peace.
Peace.